Every man deserves to know their T levels. Step into Game Day Men's Health Solon and get tested on us. No guesswork, no waiting, just real answers. Let's talk a little baseball now, Jay. The Guardians, winners of 2 of 3 against the Athletics. Chase Delauter broke his home run drought. Tyvis Bazzana got his first major league hit and RBIs. Parker Messick, not the best Parker Messick we've seen.
Well, that was his first egg all year. Like I thought he's
all in all.
And that stadium has could very well have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, well, he got hit by the long ball.
Yeah.
And
we were talking about off the air about the minor league stadium that the A's are playing in. And part of it also.
G said he turned on the game and thought they were playing at Thurman Munson.
Hey, they was at Munson, bro. I was like, bro, they at the back of the Thurman Munson, bro. They got cargo ships in the left field.
Yeah.
It's sitting room only with blankets and bring your dog day.
Yeah, it's a
But
mess.
the ball flies out of there. There
does.
is no second deck. It's wide open. And, I mean, the A's have some mashers to begin with, but a lot of the pitching last year struggled to adapt to both them and the Rays were playing in minor league parks last year.
Rays are back on the trop now.
And the pitchers have to adjust for the ball flying out of there.
Yeah, and that's what hurt him, obviously, was the long ball. But I think overall for the series, a lot of positive things. I had predicted, I've got a bet with one of the producers upstairs that Delauter's going to have 11 after 50. Now, I made that bet when he had 5 after 4 or whatever he had. And I thought, he'll and Brian, our producer upstairs, says he won't have more than 10 at 50. And I said, I'll take that bet. So we have a bet that he'll hit 11. And since we made the bet, he hadn't homered. Right. But I had predicted Friday. He's been white hot all week.
Yeah.
2-3 hits a game.
Yeah.
And I told Brian on Friday, I said, I'm going to call my shot right now. Delauter's going to homer this weekend. And that's going to,
that's the right stadium to pick.
That's the stadium to do it. But he was 8 for 11 for the weekend.
And how is
I think his OPS is like 940. There it is. There it is.
And he's killing lefties.
He's doing okay.
Like I heard he was almost close to 400, like against left-handed pitchers. And the fact that he's not hitting the ball out of the park, but he's going opposite way. He's finding grass every place.
Jay, I think this is the adjustment to the adjustment. The league was pitching him differently after they saw him for the first week. They're like, oh, okay, you're not just to throw it over and get an out rookie. And I think I hate to say this because I love the kid, but I think he does have a hole in his swing. It's down and in. I think it's a pitch that he thinks he can hit. And when he starts the swing, you think he's going to hit it. And miraculously, the ball is in the catcher's glove. And you're like, how did he miss that? It's a hole in the swing. But I do think he's made the initial adjustment to the staff's adjustment to him. I just love this kid.
I am most excited after seeing him for a month is that we've seen him for a month, and he hasn't been hurt.
Right. That's a great point.
That's the most exciting part.
They haven't tried to steal him all year.
And nor should they.
Yeah.
And this sounds silly, but I'm serious. You made it through the coldest part of the year without pulling a hamstring. Mm-hmm. And it's just those soft tissue injuries and things that have haunted him in the past. Lower extremities. Yeah. And to survive all of April and to make it through and still be healthy, that's a win. Because the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, one of those 30-degree games, you pull a hamstring, you're out a month. And here we go again.
He does play in Cleveland, so he could still have a 30-degree game.
This is true. This is true.
Twisted.
But I love the way that they've handled him. It's exactly as we said it would be. They're not going to play him 6 days a week in right field. He'll get a couple of days in the outfield, DH a day, get a day off.
You know what I like the most, though? I like the fact that he started off hot, then he got super cold, and he battled his way out of it.
Yeah.
He because you thought, well, maybe he got to get his confidence or he battled his way out of it and he hit his way out of a slump. So now it's like, he goes through the rest of the year, and now if he hits a little rough spot, he has that experience to say, okay, I've been here before. I got myself out of it. Let's go back and still have some confidence at the plate. I'm glad Bazzana got his first hit because them at bats was tallying for him.
Yeah, it was racking up there. And I think he was 0 for 12, 0 for 13.
You don't want to do that.
No, but then he got his first hit. It's funny. His first hit, by the way, that's not Tyvis Powell. but that's okay.
I'm like, he done picked some weight up.
You know what?
Travis Bazzana watching that going, damn, when did I get so old?
That is my bad. I changed the name.
Right.
I downloaded the Bazzana picture.
That's
I never
okay.
dragged the Bazzana picture into the stats. My bad.
It's funny. He had hit some balls hard
Yeah.
during his first stretch.
He had 300-mile-an-hour exit velo.
Yeah.
I know, and then all of a sudden, his base hit came with the bases loaded, and it was a little dribbler up the middle through the infield that, under normal circumstances, if the defense is back, it's probably an out. But sometimes in the game of baseball, you know this, Jay, you played it, you understand, you can be 0 for 15, and you can hit one off the inside part of the bat.
Yep.
It's a 40-foot base hit,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden, the baseball gods start paying you back, and those shots start finding grass.
Well, plus you can breathe again.
Yes.
You just need to exhale, get
His
the first
family
one out of
was
the way.
following him all over. Too.
And you see his face when he got the first
Yes,
base.
he
He's
was like,
thank
yes,
you, gosh,
thank you.
I'm
You guys
here.
can go back to
like, go, have a life, because now that's going to, it looked like he got a family. His dad looked like he still got work on Monday. He done used all this little PTO.
Well, he doesn't have to if he doesn't
Well,
want
he don't want to, but he's like, I ain't quit my job. So that now y'all can go back to your regular lives. Watch me on TV on road trips. We've gotten it out of the way.
I love that his walk-up song is Down Under. Or whatever that song,
Yep.
old Australian group. I think that's probably about all it could have been. But that's great. It was awesome to see him hit. I tell you, the guy that I like is, they called him back up recently when they
Petey
sent.
Halpin.
What's that?
Halpin? Petey?
Yes, I like Petey Halpin. I like the way he plays the
And
game.
I'm like, where do you get this guy?
He made a great catch.
Great catch. I was
Robbed
like,
the home run Saturday.
I said,
or would have been off the fence.
I came in mid inning and I'm looking, and when he caught the ball, I said, "Who's this? Like, where did they transport
He was
this
up
guy
for a
from?"
minute last year, and he plays the game hard.
Yeah.
He has all the attributes.
I don't think he's an everyday player. Maybe I'm
Probably
wrong.
not, but he's a nice utility
if
guy.
this team calls Miles Straw an everyday player, maybe Petey Halpin is too. But he's to me, he's another Straw of a defensive replacement, excellent center fielder, pinch runner late in games. But I don't think he's an everyday player.
But doesn't every team need a guy like that?
Sure.
Like, I think there's a spot for him there. Valera got sent down I think because, unless I missed it, but I just saw that he was sent down. I didn't see if they gave him a reason, but I think he needs to play every day. He needs to.
He wasn't performing well, and just need to get him right, get at bats. I still like him a lot. I still think he'll be a big part of this team this year.
This year, you think?
Yeah.
I hope so.
It's May, and if he can go down and straighten himself out and get his swing right, there's no reason there's a long way to go. There's no reason he can't be back in a month or two.
I'm gonna give the Guardians credit, man, because I don't know what the heck has gotten into y'all, but touche. I love the fact that y'all playing these young dudes. Like, usually y'all used to be allergic to having more than one young dude. They'd be like, it's a one young guy limit. We gave you Delauter. We're not gonna bring Bazzana up till September, maybe. Now you got Delauter, you seeing Bazzana, you starting to see these young dudes.
Valera was
up in the
Halpin's here.
Yep. So
I want to see a young catcher. That's what I want to see.
Well, real quick,
you got one.
We might as well combine.
Hedges is hitting the ball now. What you mean, Ted?
He is hitting the ball.
Hedges hitting the cover off the baseball right now.
He is.
Well, we may as well combine the two Guardians topics into one because you just kind of mentioned it. But we were going to talk about this a little later. Cavs went longer, so we'll combine these into one big Guards topic. I feel like the Guardians are operating differently than they have in at least the 4 years that we've been doing UCSS. The profile of the players they're drafting have changed. They took Jace Lavalette from A&M last year, the big power hitting guy. Delauter does not fit the middle infielder, smaller utility guy they drafted in the past. They're calling guys up earlier than ever before. They've extended some of their guys earlier than we've seen in the past. Power seems to be something that they don't hate anymore. At least it's not necessarily a strength, but it's not like
they were power adverse for a while there.
Jay, do you get the sense that I don't want to say guards ball is dying, but it's starting to just veer off a little bit in that other direction?
like the question. I'm anxious to see what you guys have to say about this. I think that what we're seeing is the fruit was on the vine for so long, and we weren't seeing any of the benefits of it. It was just like, we got this great minor league system. Well, you don't have a great minor league system so you can win an International League championship in Columbus. Mm-hmm. You have great talent in the minor leagues so you can develop them and get them to the big leagues. Bazzana was behind schedule compared to other guys that were drafted after him. And I think that the shift happened last year, Jay. Not Bazzana. Bazzana was the number 1 overall pick, and he played a non-premium position.
Yeah.
But the 25 draft, for me, was the one that I think was the most interesting, just because it looks like that was the draft where they finally said, oh, okay, we're going to draft guys that look more like Aaron Judge and less like Omar Vizquel. Because every one of their draft picks last year, when you look at their height and weight, oh, okay, we got a bunch of lumberjacks all of a sudden.
Yeah. Mike, I tend to disagree, I think, with the part I agree with is what Jay alluded to. They did change their draft profile for sure.
Yeah.
If you look back, I'll go back to the Clevenger trade when they acquired Gabby Arias and Owen Miller, and Angel Martinez fits into this burrito. They got a ton of middle infield guys because they felt like if you can play short, you can play anywhere. If you can handle shortstop, you can play center field, you can play left. We'll find a place for you. But when they were emphasizing contact over power, I don't know if they thought the game was going a certain way and it went another. I don't know, but there was definitely a misalignment there. But they play young guys they play young guys all the time, and there's some contract manipulation involved with that for sure. But I don't think Bazzana fell into that. Bazzana needed to play, and he needed to hit, and he needed to prove that he was ready.
Right.
And so they called him up when he was ready. Quan, they didn't manipulate the contract for a couple years ago. He started off on the opening day roster. Delauter, I think, was the case this year of, hey, he's ready. We got to play him when he's healthy because get what bats you can out of him at the major league level. Signing guys, they signed Bybee, but that's really the only extension unless I'm missing one. They're not a team. I'm sorry?
Jimenez?
Well, that was a couple years ago, but they're not a team
and it didn't work out.
And they got off
Hosey,
it.
obviously, but he's not in the young guy category.
And he took another enormous discount to stay.
Yeah.
But they are not in the business of signing guys before they appear in the majors. Like they won't sign Bazzana until they probably won't even make him an offer until the end of the year and see what he's got.
What's interesting is I thought they were pretty anxious to re-sign or to extend Quan.
Yeah.
And I think at this point it's kind of a good move that they didn't.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. That one's fascinating. I mean, they tried making him.
He made a big bet on himself, and I think it cost him a lot of money.
Well, but again, they weren't going to make him an offer until after his rookie year. They got to see it on the field. They are not a team, at least under the Dolans. We'll see under Blitzer. But under the Dolans, they have not been a team that's willing to give the Kevin McGonigal contract before his major league debut.
And what
Pittsburgh's
doing too.
Connor Griffin, the same way.
Yeah.
They do not operate that way.
They used to. They were the ones that started it.
But not guys who hadn't debuted yet.
Well, when John Hart was signed in Baerga and all those young kids, they hadn't yet become the stars that they were going to become.
But there was proof on paper. There was they weren't quite to arbitration. So they obviously, they set the model of buying out the arbitration years and everybody else chased it. Well, then the agent said, you guys are signing bad deals. Don't take those deals. You're leaving too much money on the table.
Right.
So now the counter to the counter is signing these guys before they even make their debut.
Right. Once you see enough.
Which is an enormous risk on the team side.
You aren't
We've
kidding.
seen deals blow up. Jonathan Singleton signed a massive deal with the Astros and was horrible.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. So there's risk on both sides, and that's sort of the Guardian standpoint is, hey, you might be leaving money on the table, but I mean, you think Shane Bieber wishes he took the Guardians offer? He still hasn't signed.
No, I know
his
he
big
hasn't.
money deal. He still hasn't thrown a pitch this
Tristan McKenzie.
Yeah, I think the thing he's known for most after he left Cleveland was giving up the home run that cost him the World Series.
Yeah.
Quan got a voicemail from Tristan McKenzie like, hey man, go ahead and
get it while you can.
Get that bag of money right. I mean,
where is Tristan McKenzie? Is he on anyone's roster?
San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah,
but
I don't
not big league roster. Right?
I don't believe so. I think he's in the minors.
God, I still root for that kid so hard.
And did he eventually get the surgery?
No.
Still hasn't.
He was throwing 100 though. His velo's back.
What?
Surgery.
He can't locate. He's getting rocked. But
Who is?
He's throwing 100 now.
McKenzie.
He's back up to 100.
He was his average. I saw this a couple weeks ago. I'll find the exact tweet. But his first two spring training starts, his average fastball velo is 99.1.
Okay,
but
that's exciting. But you got to throw it over the plate.
He got rocked in both his outings.
And that's the terror part of it is the lack of command.
Yeah, you're right. I do think, though, Mike, to answer your question, I do think that they've pivoted from the guards ball, but I don't think it's anything that we've seen yet. Because we're still seeing the Bazzana, which definitely was part of the old guards ball era.
Yeah.
And Delauter was here for a while.
Well,
he's a bigger I don't even know that he's a home run hitter, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know if the Bazzana pick was part of guards ball. I feel like that was part of the shift. It was. I mean, yeah, they passed on Nick Kurtz.
They could have taken Nick Kurtz.
Yeah.
If they had already made that pivot, I think they would have taken a guy that they thought could project as a 40 home run a year guy.
Like Charlie Condon, the guy came out of Georgia.
When you look at the 25 draft roster for the Guardians.
That was the Lavalette draft, right?
If you go there, and I'm curious to see if they follow that up with another class like that this year. And to be honest, I haven't tracked a lot of those kids to see how they're doing in the minor leagues. But if you call up their 25 draft class and you look at their height and weight only,
oh, they're huge.
They took a bunch of lumberjacks.
Yeah.
And they had not been that team at all. And I think they just got sick of losing to the Yankees.
2-1.
When you got to pitch to Paul Bunyan and, two Paul Bunyans in your lineup, I think it finally resonated with the guards. Oh, we're not going to single this team to death.
Nah,
we're going to need home runs. And I think the class that they took in last year's draft is that pivot.
The game has become so predicated on home runs. We've talked about it before. If you don't hit the ball out of the park in the postseason, your chances of advancing deep are very limited.
Especially when you seeing these top-notch pitchers 2-3 times, you catching their ace twice in an elimination game, and you think that the bottom of your order is really going to string together singles? No, you're not getting that off.
Somewhere, I don't know where he is, but somewhere Earl Weaver is saying, I told you, that 3-run home run is gold.
Yeah,
and especially in October, if you can get those big swings. Now you live by it, you die by it. I think the equivalent almost, I don't know if you'd agree with this, but when I was watching the Celtics lose in Game 7, I thought,
Them threes.
The dragon you built just slayed you.
Yeah.
Because if you have an off night at the wrong time,
you're in trouble.
And it's the same thing with the Yankees in the playoffs. I think the reason they haven't gone all the way and won the World Series with this group is because great pitching can trump that in a 7-game series. And if you're not getting those big flies from Judge and Stanton, your season can end in a hurry. So.